We are back with the Bochum Moneyball save, and now we are a Bundesliga side. So we need to build for the new season. The big question is how many of these players are going to be up to Bundesliga standard? And if you ask the experts, not many. So I'm going to have to lean heavily on my amazing scout Babacar to hopefully find once again a Moneyball data breaking superstar like we found Mo Bakazi from South Africa. So welcome back to Bochum. If you're new to this story, make sure you catch episode 1 and we start episode 2 with the signings of the season and we absolutely dominate it. Striker Wandal Duba wins the award after 15 goals and 8 assists, but we've also got another 2 players, so we've got 3 of the best 5 signings last season. And that reflects well on our approach of sending our scouts to particular areas where they excel at, finding a ton of really good prospects, which then allows me to check out their squad and then see exactly how they've been performing. And like I said in the intro, that's exactly how we found my boy Makazi, a centre-back. He's had 1 season with us, signed for 600,000 from Orlando Pirates, and he's now worth a whopping 27 to 30 million. So the signings have been going well, and we've also this time got some good youth prospects as well. Check them out. So I had a few players out on loan, but it was the top 3 that are going to make the impact: Jashiri, Kozerski and Tom Meyer. Meyer's a 19-year-old central midfielder who is also 6'5". And last season from midfield, he had a 13.9 possession won ratio per 90 minutes. Exceptional, but probably the most exciting is attacking midfielder Jashiri. We also have the added bonus of a potential wonderkid superstar, Felix Moro, and I'm tempted to use him this season. He's a striker, his finishing is already 15, and that determination level just sings. And we're going to need all the help we can get, because as we saw in the pre-season odds, 450 to 1, it doesn't look pretty. Also, he's made his way to the Bundesliga. Great. So to help us in our first Bundesliga season, with the help of the scouts, I secured 6 signings in the off-season. In the last episode I showed you Quincy Butler, Amando Sieb and Louis Truss, but I also sealed a deal for midfielder Kanate, 400,000 from Tunisian football, left-back Voyu Letlapa, 185 from South Africa, and 18-year-old Musa Cisse, 400,000 from Generation Foot. And on Generation Foot, make sure you check them out because they've always got loads of talent. So as far as this season's tactic goes, it fell away badly with Diablo last season, so I'm going to revert back to this tactic that we used in season 1. As a reminder, it drops into a 4-4-2. I might take a little look at that and see if it can improve it, but being the underdogs that we are, I'm going to drop that defensive line super low, especially away from home. And those new players fit in the team quite well. I'm quite excited about the way the season looks. But then, the worst possible news. 1 season we've had him, 1 season, and in come the vultures. There is a giant bid coming from Saudi for Mo Bakazi, which rises to 40 million. So fearing the worst, I've acted quickly. So I've put a bid in for Sergio Palacios, a 6'5" centre-back, as his potential replacement. Now South America is a good place to shop if, like me, you've been caught on the hop and it's July, because they've already had half a season. So I could go to his club, go to his first team squad, find him in this squad, and I can judge him on his data, and I can see from this that he looks like a really good player with a whopping 21.1 possession won per 90. That's Mo Bakazi levels, and that's why I bought him initially. Now it's a big bid for us, 9 million, but if we get all that money from Mo Bakazi, that's going to be a quarter of that income. And it will be needed because Mo Bakazi has indeed left us after 1 glorious season for a fee that will rise to 40 million. It's a really good profit, but I'm sorry to see him go. And the club are happy, although the fans not so much. So it was absolutely vital to complete the deal for Palacios, and we managed to. And the next thing is to give Chief Scout Babacar and his team a pep talk, because now more than ever do I need them to find me some good players. So Palacios jumps into Mo Bakazi's position. The one thing he has over Mo Bakazi is he's 6'5", so he's more dominant in the air. And we're going to need him. The only goal this season is to survive. We start the season with a hard-fought draw, and then in our first home game, a hard-fought win. Reality soon hit with 2 successive big defeats, but thanks to a lot of the new players, we were picking up some vital victories. It's fair to say the first half of the season was a bit of a mixed bag, but crucially, we were getting plenty of wins. It means at the winter break we're currently sat 13th. I'll take that right now if we can finish there. The problem's pretty clear because in those 16 matches we conceded 34 times. That's despite a pretty good opening season for new defender Sergio Palacios. He's been leading the way in a lot of the key defensive metrics. Considering it's his first season at this level and he's only 22, he's been a bit of a one-man band back there. And does hardly lose the ball and he wins it back at a decent rate. But the big standout, and we thought it would be the case, is the amount of headers he wins. 88%. of headers won. So when you consider that stat includes attacking set pieces like free kicks and corners, that's pretty impressive. But we have managed to get some wins, and that's due to the attacking side of the team, and they've done pretty well. No more so than Felix Moro. He's played in the cup games, he's scored 3 times, and he's also got 1 in the Bundesliga. But overall, the best attacking player has probably been new signing Armindo. Signed on a free transfer, he's already valued at 6 million. Now he's got 12 goal involvements in 17 matches so far, which shows the all-round player that he is. Most importantly, he's got 0.4 assists per game, so he's doing that part of the game pretty well, alongside the goals per game record of 0.4. He's played most of the time in that position, he wants to play up front and might be the way to go for the second half of the season. Overall though, there's lots to be positive about. New left back Voyo Latlapa tops the squad in terms of crosses attempted, and when you're playing a narrow formation you really need that player to do that. And the young players from the club like Lewis Pick, 9 goals this season, still rocking along pretty nicely. So solid stuff so far, but now midpoint of the season is a good time to start looking at players who might be out of contract or just to simply plan for next season.
And keep an eye on the Pokal, as we have quietly made our way to the quarterfinals. And we might have an outside chance because there's no Bayern Munich and there's no Dortmund. So although I'm concentrating on survival, we need to think about next season, and with it clicking over to January, it's a good time to think about signings. So obviously to save a bit of money, I will look at the upcoming out-of-contract players, that's a certainty. But also with a good chunk of the season gone, I decided to look into the league below to see any outstanding players that might be available. So I was having a look around and I noticed this player, Nathan Skeiter at Kaiserslautern. He's up there in terms of key passes per 90 at 2.52, but crucially, they'd been converted into 3 assists. So I decided to look at him a bit closer, and he's got a good average rating this season, and he looks like he won't be too expensive. I went to his team, slotted in the attack data so I can have a better look at him, and I noticed all round he looks pretty good. Goals per game at 0.3, expected assists 0.3, assists per 90 at 0.3. Keeping that technique going, I landed on Dinamo Dresden, and the player I was looking at was defensive midfielder Kofi Amoeko. And I noticed he was their defensive linchpin because he led the way with possession 1 per 90 of 14.1 from midfield. That's outstanding. Next up, it was a player from the scout reports in South America, Mateus Lezo, a Peru international playing for FBC Melgar. So again, I went to their team, and combining his really good overall attributes, his good age and his good fee, alongside some really solid defensive data including possession 1 at 18, he was an absolute no-brainer signing. One more signing with next season in mind. I was looking at wingers, potentially going back to a wide formation. I ended up on dribbles per 90 minutes. A couple of really interesting standouts, but I landed on Yosuke Furukawa. First off, his key attributes stood out a mile: dribbling, flair, acceleration, agility. Then you look at his overall rate of 6.35 per 90. He's only 24, so despite the mild board reaction to him for 350,000, I think it's an absolute bargain. All 4 of those players are signed on the 1st of January. And as you can see by the fees, fantastic value for money. There's also a few more players been added to the shortlist, including outstanding striker Alan Obando. He came to my attention with his 2027 season, 21 goals in 28 matches. He was going at 0.8 goals per match, so if I can get him at the end of the season, I'll be delighted. Stay tuned for that one. There's also players from the lower leagues I'm keeping an eye on. Leopold Verm is a 6'5", 21-year-old central defender. Now, he looks pretty good. In terms of possession 1, it's really good at 16.1, but remember, he's playing at a lower level, so I'm just going to keep an eye on the rest of his data for the rest of the season to see if there's an improvement before deciding whether to make the move. So now with those extra players in, it does give me the opportunity to try out a new tactic, but what I'm going to do is, because we're getting a few wins with this tactic, I'm going to stick with it, keep them players on the back burner until we get safety, and then later on in the season we'll try out a new tactic ready for next season. So form after the winter break wasn't great, so I need to make some changes to make sure we survive. However, we did progress into the semi-finals of the Pokal thanks to our man Armindo, and after dropping into a 3 at the back system to try and make sure we survived, we secured an unforgettable victory away at Bayern and absolutely crushed Dortmund. But following that, there were some heavy defeats in the run-in, so we're not quite there yet tactically. But we do have some real gems in the team, including 3rd place wonderkid in the world, Moussa Cissé. That's a big thank you to the scouts for that one. Now in the Bundesliga, which was won by Eintracht Frankfurt by the way, we did our job and managed to finish 13th position and survived pretty comfortably in the end. We did concede far too many goals this season, but we did enough to survive and we move on to our 2nd season in the top division. To assist this, we've made some signings already, including new goalkeeper Jordan Amissa, centre-back Anja Huso, and full-back Sander Navarro. Goalkeeper Amissa comes from League 2 in England. Now it's going to be a big step up, but he has been outstanding there. The giant goalkeeper may well become our new number 1.
Ahusu is the top centre-back for Rapid in Austria. And with more player recommendations coming in from all over the place thanks to that scouting team, it's going to be an interesting pre-season as we look to push on. So it's pretty clear where we need to improve for next season, despite a good debut season from Sergio Palacios. Defensively, we've got some work to do. On the attacking side of things, I'm much more happy. Felix Moro is going to be some player, by the way. Now, he's just turned 17, you can see his attributes are on the rise. His value's shot up to nearly 60 million. He's played 17 times with 9 starts. I'm just bedding him into the team gently. He's got the best average rating at the club, 8 goals, 0.9 goals per 90 minutes. Then you've got Lewis Pick, who scored 15 goals for us this season. And of course, the signing from Bayern Munich last year, Armindo, he's ended up with 16. But yeah, I'm going to have to do some pretty harsh reviewing of the squad to see where we can improve. Because next season, we are eyeing top 10. So in pre-season, with the ambitions to push on, I decided to improve the scouting team for even better player options. So I brought in Moussa Kone, who is an absolute specialist when it comes to Africa. Look at that. And Mads Jorgensen to cover Scandinavia. Complete coverage, perfect. Alongside my other scouts, they immediately got to work. And it's resulted in some really good players on the way in. However, the first signing that joined us was using the trick of going to the league below. Saba Kabavishli. He looks an absolutely exceptional talent at only 19 years of age. And it's a big outlay for us at 6.5 million, but he's immediately been valued at 57 to 64. I also spent money on goalkeeper Mama Ndi, recommended by my new Scandinavian scout from Norway, 4.7 million, the outstanding goalkeeper over there. He's got attributes to die for. The only one of worry is his eccentricity at 17, but I kind of like that in a goalkeeper. 975,000 was spent on wingback Yelsa Palazza. Comes from Colombian football, 4 goals and 6 assists this season. His assist rate was 0.5, had to get him. I also had to get attacker Nicolas Azambuja. Now he's a small forward at 5'7", but he's got beautiful little attributes. He'd already bagged 9 in 15, and that was going at a goals per game ratio of 0.7. Signed for just 600,000, I'm excited about this one. And I did manage to finally get Alan Obanda, the striker that I've been eyeing for more than a season. So last season when he came to our attention, he scored 21 in 28. He'd started well again this season. He was available for 2.4 million and goals per 90 of 0.8. Have to buy him. And it looks like the right move because he's immediately been valued between 48 and 61 million. Overall, we spent 15.2 million. We brought in 4.6 because goalkeeper Jesus Awonu's gone to Heidenheim. But now I'm really happy with the squad and really happy with the age of the squad. We've got a super young squad which bodes well for the future. So we're very optimistic, but the pundits aren't, as their value is down at 350 to 1. So tactically, we did finish the last season with a 3 at the back. We might start with that. I'm going to use pre-season to find out where we're heading. And that's what we did. And as we went into the season, we actually got a massive victory yet again against Bayern. We're fast becoming their bogey team. For this one, I dropped to a cautious mentality and it seemed to be the right thing. And on half-time, we nearly went 3-1 up, but it was just offside. Bayern came back at us, but we were defending well and we were kind of limiting their shots to shots from outside the box, which I can deal with because I've got a good new keeper. And we got a massive victory early in the season. Add to that a tight win against St. Paul, a draw against Wolfsburg, and we're coming up against champions Frankfurt next, which is tough because it's away from home. Now this is a match where they were heavily on top, but we stayed in it and then we scored this goal from goalkeeper to front on the 75th minute. A slightly different take on the 3 at the back, and Obanda scored his first for the club in a massive win. Now after 4 games, that actually means we're top of the table. Now we're not going to stay there because I'm not 100% convinced on this tactic, but it's a hell of a start to our new season. As we continued through the season, we kept the 3 at the back. It allowed the wing-backs to really push on and provide the width. And up front, Obando was really settling into Bundesliga life. Whatever happens with this team, we're going to keep the advanced wing-backs going forward high up the pitch because even on this occasion, they supplied each other from the left to the right. On the right-hand side, Palazza has been outstanding with 8 assists in 19 matches. So remember, he only cost 900,000 and he has been our best attacking threat in the entire team. Highlighted by crosses attempted at 10.9 per match, his dribbles per 90, which is 6.1 per match, which is winger level, and the highlight being 0.5 assists per match, which is one of the best in the league. And to be fair to left-back Saba, he's right up there with him. Not quite as many assists, but he does have even more crosses attempted. It's meant we're looking pretty good. We're 7th place in the Bundesliga and we're once again in the quarter-finals of the Pokal. So we're going to stick with this tactic going forward. In defence, it goes a little bit wider to cover those areas. It's not perfect, but it's doing the job so far. It's also the time to look for new players for next season, and Yandri Vasquez has been recommended to us, and wait till you see this guy. So he's an Ecuadorian striker. He scored 24 times this season.
I'm going to go to his club, Independiente del Valle, in Ecuador. We'll go to their senior squad. We've got our attack data here. There he is. He's going at 0.8 goals per match. 2 shots on target a match. He's a goal machine. He's available at 3.5 million. It's a no-brainer. But the board won't sanction the move because he is out for the season 4 to 7 months. So the only course of action is to slap him on the shortlist and try and get him when he's fit because he looks like an outstanding striker. In the Scandinavian search, I need to be a little bit more picky because they're a bit more expensive out there. And in Africa, they are still throwing up a ton of players, including 18-year-old Mabaga. Now, he scored 5 times in 18 matches. I'm not quite sure what his best position will be yet. He's in Tanzania, so if we go to his team, Coastal Union, at only 18, he's definitely one to keep an eye on. He's one of the best attacking players they've got already. And of course, as always at this point of the season, we go to our quick filters and go for contract expiring. And there's a literal tonnage of high quality players that will be available for free at the end of the season.
Are you ready?
In the second half of the season, we continued our great run. There was only a slight blip with a couple of defeats, but we came out of it really well. And it appears we found ourselves a couple of superstars this season, none more so than Azam Buja up front. If you told me at the start of the season who would score more out of Obando and Ambuja, it would have been Obando. But as Ambuja, the Uruguayan, has bagged 19 times this season and he's chucked in 15 assists. Obando's been good with 13, but he's been more of a supportive act. And my man Saba at left wing back, he's now actually taken over right wing back Palaza to be the top assist maker at the club with 0.55. The team's performance meant that we finished in the top 5. A stunning performance, only losing the 8 matches, and crucially, we've shored up in defence, only conceding 42. In further good news, it's the Pokal, because we've managed to get ourselves to the final. We absolutely smashed Werder 3-0 in the semi-final, and we come up against the double champions, Eintracht Frankfurt. It's fair to say at this point I saw ourselves as a little bit ahead of schedule, but my God, this will top things off quite nicely. So we go into the match with a pretty settled team, as you can see by the team chemistry. They're enjoying playing with each other. But this is a tough ask, because Frankfurt have won the Bundesliga 2 years in a row. Armando was probably our first successful signing, and it's fitting that he gives us the lead. And to be fair, looking at the match stats, we have started fantastically well, completely dominating. It's the first time I've got a back three really working really well in this year's Football Manager. Here's Obando through. And those 3 centre-backs just eat it up when they try and play it long. I really feel like we need a second goal here though, because they are the champions. So Frankfurt are coming back into it a little bit. There's 36 minutes gone. You'll notice I'm on attacking mentality, so for the rest of the half I'm just going to drop down to cautious. And we're just about to see it through till half time. I'm just a little bit worried here because this is a highlight that we don't need with injury time coming, but we've sprung a little bit of a counter. Here's Abando. A scintillating counter attack, and when you've got these two up front, you're always going to have a chance. We get to half time with a deserved 2-0 lead. We're nearly there. Might be a risk, but I'm kicking off the second half, maintaining that cautious mentality. Just hope that we don't live to regret that and invite pressure. Incidentally, the team instructions out of possession is just a standard line, so we drop back a little bit, not too far, and I'm not pushing their goalkeeper, so we get back into some sort of shape. We've started the half really well. Here's Azam Buja, the little magician, down the right-hand side. 66 minutes gone, no need to change anything yet. They're not exactly smashing into us like I thought they would. Well, I don't believe what I've just seen. Do you remember what I said about my boy in D? How I like his eccentricity? What is he doing here? 73 minutes gone. I'm lost for words. So this is the point where we're bringing some time wasting, definitely. We dropped to very defensive. There's less than a minute to go. So the boys do me proud and take home the Pokal. I think we've achieved the goal faster than I thought we would, but I'm going to have one more season in the Bundesliga to see how high up we can finish. The club are also buzzing. Their finances are so healthy now. But with success comes worry because a load of our better players are now wanted. I expected that, to be fair. So the squad is in a real healthy place. We progressed really nicely. Now we did make that signing from Tanzania of Mabaga. So I got him in for 200,000, sent him straight on loan to Dusseldorf, and he's doing really well. So he looks like a talent we can use next season. And because of the quality we brought in up front, I sent Felix Moro out on loan as well. He went to Kaiserslautern. That's really helped his development. He's got some good game time and some good goals as well. So attacking data, if you look at it, That's where we excelled this season. Our goals per game ratio, that's really healthy when you've got a lot of players that high up. But we've never had this before. Our assists per 90 with 0.5, 0.4s coming in. Pretty solid in defence as well. There's a lot of double figure possession 1 per 90, which is good, including midfielders. The same goes for interceptions per 90. That's a real good overall figure. So we're looking pretty good. We just can't rest on our laurels though, because there is a lot of players that are wanted. So it could be an interesting summer. But this is a rarity because I'm looking at the starting 11 and wondering what positions to drop out so I know what to strengthen, and I'm pretty happy with every position. It's probably a case of looking at the bench and just seeing where we can have really strong backups. And as far as backups go, they're not going to cost me a penny because I've got 4 players coming in all on free transfers. These are damn good players as well. Capril's been #1 goalkeeper for Cagliari in Serie B. You've got the potential of David Odogu. And there's a couple of FM favourites in there as well, free transfers. Add to that the odd player from the youth team ready to come up. I don't need to do that much business.
Hey yo!
That goal in the cup final proved to be Armindo's last for us as he joins Werder Bremen for 14 million. But it's a whopping profit after we got him on a free transfer. Scouts came up trumps with 18-year-old centre-back Abubakar Afini from Nigeria. I mean, just take a look at that. Wow. Although I did miss out on Yandri Vasquez, the striker that was injured. He chose Werder Bremen instead of us. And we do need to bring some more players in because remember, our league position and cup means that we qualify for the Europa League this season. We started the season having not lost that many players, which is surprising, but I'm buzzing. And we got a big win in the first game of the season, the curtain raiser in the Super Cup against Frankfurt. I thought I'd got through the transfer deadline, but then Saudi came in for our brilliant eccentric goalkeeper Mamu Ndi, 17.75 million. The Maniac was only with us for a season, but having signed him for 4.7 million, 37 games later, he goes for a £10 million profit. So it was a blooming good job that I'd signed Capril on a free transfer because he is just as good, to be fair. Early season, my first choice strike force were out injured. So for the start of the season, I had 18-year-old Felix Moro partnered by 18-year-old Mabaga. And to be fair, they did me proud. It was a close defeat to Bayern Munich and a heavy defeat to Leverkusen. And as the players got themselves fit, we returned to a bit more consistent form. Currently on our best form of the season, although we have been knocked out of the Pokal, so we won't retain that. But in the Bundesliga, sitting pretty as the best of the rest behind Bayern Munich. They are a whopping 14 clear, so they're going to be impossible to catch, but let's try and stay in these Champions League spots. And we've given this man a career renaissance. He has been outstanding with 11 goals in 18 matches. But by far the player of the season so far is Palaza, the right wing back we signed for 900,000 from Colombia. 15 assists so far this season in 25 matches. Some of his data is ridiculous. He's hitting us with 13 crosses per match, over 7 dribbles per match, a whopping 4 key passes per match, which has led to the best assist record yet at 0.7. So we're gearing up for a good second half of the season, and then a sucker punch. Mabaga, the player we signed late last season, has just turned 19. Signed for 200,000, 7 appearances later, he leaves for 19.5, rising to 23. I mean, as far as profit goes, it's great, but we didn't get to use him much, which is disappointing. It means now we've spent 38 million, but we have recouped over 100 in our time at the club. So that was a big blow, but brushing ourselves down, we had this epic match in the Europa League playoff round. Celta Vigo 6, Bochum 5. So back to our stadium for the second leg. After 2 minutes, we took the lead. And then, led by the excellent wingback Palaza, the goals just continued and continued. This was a truly devastating performance as we scored 5 times in the first 36 minutes and battered Vigo 5-0 for a 10-6 aggregate victory. As early as April, Bayern Munich had tied up the league and were declared champion. They're already 20 points clear, so we're in a fight to try and finish the best of the rest in second. To be fair, when you come up against Erling Haaland, Nico Paz and Musiala in a Bayern team, what do you expect? But in a competition we could still win. There was a 2-2 draw away at Braga, followed by a 3-0 home win, which meant we're through to the semis. Now, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but this isn't the strongest last 4 I've ever seen. Brentford will play Lazio, we will play Fenerbahce. In the first leg in Turkey, the front two combined to give us a 1-0 win, and the boys finished it off at home with Moro scoring the third, as we triumphantly march to the Europa League final. In that final, it will be Brentford of the Premier League, so that's going to be a tough one. With prioritising Europe, we had dropped off a little bit in the league, we're still in good form, and we end the season in the top 4. So that's a top 4 finish in the books for Bochum, which means they're going to get a big financial boost because that does qualify us for the Champions League. So our Moneyball rebuild of Bochum is coming to an end, but I just wonder if we can finish it off now with an historic Europa League victory. It's going to be tough, really tough, because both strikers are out. Obanda, when he's played, has been great. Problem has been he's missed 54% of the games this season. He can't stay fit.
It means we're going with a very makeshift strike force of 18-year-old Moro and Skeiter, a midfielder. So early days, it looks like we're missing them strikers. We don't have much of a cutting edge here, and Brentford look to be the better team. Second half was better, and we were slowly coming into the match. And that was full time. It goes to extra time. Into extra time, we just could not hold out, and Carvalho gave Brentford the lead. And try as we might, we couldn't get the dream equaliser for the fairy tale ending as Brentford take down the Europa League 1-0. A tough pill to swallow indeed. I've got to believe that if our two strikers were fit, we would have had a much better chance. Overall though, another stunning season, and a shout out to the wing backs with 26 assists from Palazza and 21 from the left back as well. And we've built a pretty impressive team. Abu Bakr came into the team, he's already valued at 58 to 67, he's going to be something special. But overall, thanks to data, we've built a hell of a squad for Bochum. A slow but steady build with the club, and when we got to the Bundesliga, a 13th, a 5th and a 4th, a Pokal and a Super Cup. And we leave the club's finances bursting at the seams with 103 million in the bank. And if this save was to be carried on, the sell-on value of nearly the entire first 11 is absolutely obscene. Every player's worth tens of millions now. But my time rebuilding Bochum is over, and it's on to the next Moneyball challenge.